Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to After the Buzzer. I am your host, Couper Moorhead, and we are talking about the Miami Heat's 117-105 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers. Definitely one of the games of all time. Not quite never in doubt. The Sixers hung around for a while. They took a lead in the second half at one point. It was tied through three quarters, and then the Heat kind of had a little offensive mini explosion down the stretch to cruise to a comfortable victory. Never really quite qualified to be a clutch game, which was nice for them, even though it was a little tense in a couple spots. It started out, it wasn't that pretty at the beginning. No Bam, no Andrew Wiggins, among others, for Miami. So both sides of the ball took Miami a little while to come along. The offense had 4 turnovers in the first 4 minutes. Sixers scored 20 in the paint in their first quarter, which was not a great sign. As we talked about, the Heat giving up paint points is not their thing exactly. It's not what they want to be doing. But then the Sixers only scored 28 in the paint the rest of the way through the next 3 quarters. So they tightened up the defense as things went along. We'll talk about why that was in a second. The offense got going. They ended up hitting 44% from 3. The Sixers shot 31% from 3. The Sixers are obviously missing a ton of guys. They've just barely kind of met the league minimum of rostered guys of active to have a game. And because of that, sometimes you just have more talent than the other team, and that was certainly the case down the stretch. Because talent isn't just talent on paper. Talent is options on the court for guys who can do things, guys who have a skill set to be, make an impact on offense. He had those guys. They had the other guys. And, these games without Bam doesn't happen very often, other than that one time like 4 years ago he missed a month with a hand injury. Most of the time, Bam is almost always playing. So when he doesn't play, it really makes you appreciate what he does in his non-scoring role for the team, right? Like, we know what he does offensively with the ball in his hands and how the team needs his self-created stuff, but we also know how valuable he is as a playmaker, running handoffs, setting picks, setting everybody up for success in that way. He's the proverbial grease for their wheels on offense. And, we've been talking about Tyler a lot over the past month or two. Teams pressuring him, taking away his threes, forcing him to drive, and how well he's adjusted to that. He's been countering the counter. But with Bam and Wiggins out, generally speaking, this is probably a night, go ahead, Tyler, go take 25 shots. They need shot creation, right? Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, Tyler would have done that. But he's a different player this year. And instead of taking 25 shots, he took 14. And that doesn't mean he was always looking for, the assist. He was just getting off the ball. He was happy with the cocky assist. He was happy to draw to. Philadelphia was sending 2 at him off screens, off handoffs, long shows, blitzes, traps, the usual stuff we've seen. Teams mixing it up in terms of pressure, but always pressure. Tyler was happy to get off the ball, let other guys, apply their skill sets to the game, make their own impact, and he got some catch and shoot looks. When he was able to bring that ball up in transition, he scored fast before he could get pressured. So he just managed the ball really well and only took 14 shots. So again, it's just really impressed with the way Tyler Herro is playing. Not just shooting, not just being hot from any place on the floor. It's the way he's going about the game. Even in a game like this, when he could have forced it, he let the game come to not only him, but he let the game come to his teammates because of the gravity he affords them on the floor. And I want you to hear, not from Tyler, not from his coach, but from Kyle Anderson, who's only been playing with Tyler for a couple months now, but he had this to say about the way Herro has approached the game.
He's handled it really well. Just like you said, he's getting off the ball a lot earlier than when I first got here. I think, he's maybe trying to figure out a way to still be effective with the double. I think now he's getting off it, and other guys are playing well with the 4 and 3 behind him. And I always knew Tyler was good, but, he's taken his game to another level this year, and it's fun to watch. It's super impressive. He's an all-star, and it's well-deserved. He hasn't fallen off after all-star break, none of that, so I'm impressed.
And so that was really the difference. Tyler, when he got pressured, he had other guys to help make an offensive impact. Philadelphia's side, Quentin Grimes, Lonnie Walker IV, they combined for 58 points. They were putting up a ton of shots, a lot of tough shots, pull-up threes. The longer the game went on, the tougher their shots became. But once Miami started pressuring those guys more and taking away their drives, their pull-up shots, taking away airspace from them, Philadelphia didn't really have anybody else. The only other guy in double digits for them was Adam Bona, who had 16, but he's a finisher. He's a center, so he's not going to be playmaking on the perimeter. And then Lonnie Walker and Quentin Grimes aren't exactly like playmaking, high assist guys. So once they were getting crowded on the drive, once they put the ball on the floor, Philadelphia had some bad turnovers. It just kind of unraveled for them offensively down the stretch. On Miami's side, everything kept flowing. Ware continues to be really solid. He had 19, 17. He's got such a unique little touch. He shoots his hook shots and his push shots almost like one-handed jumpers. It's a really unique touch, but it's high arcing. It's soft. They've been going in more often than not. And, it's funny. And I asked him, how do you feel about, what's your role when Bam is out? And he said, kind of jokingly, well, someone's got to take the shots. And, of course, he led the team with 16 shots tonight, and he was efficient in them. He should be doing it. He's a finisher. He's been finishing well. He's got the ball skills. He set pick and rolls well. He did Bam-like things. He's not going to be exactly Bam in terms of setting everybody up, but he did an amicable job tonight. And I'll just say this about Khalil before we move on to everybody else, but he just makes things look easy, and I think it's easy to take advantage. No, not to take advantage. It's easy to take it for granted, a guy like that who has such easy athleticism, who's so smooth and fluid. You can take it for granted because he almost makes it look not special, even though it's incredibly special what he's doing. But those are the kind of guys that can really be, they grow into something special, the guys who make it look that easy. That doesn't mean he has to be an MVP or an all-star. Maybe he will hit that level. But the point is, guys who make what Ware does, the guys who like that, who make it look that easy, they can be something special, something unique. And unique guys are guys that other teams have to adjust to in their scouting reports and their schemes, the way they handle things. So Ware just needs to keep on doing what he's doing. He's on the right track. But everybody else had moments too. Pelle Larsson was still hard charging with his shoulders. Haywood Highsmith and Alec Burks combined for 6 threes. Duncan Robinson did what Duncan Robinson does. He had 21 points on 8 shots, which not many guys are going to do, in their entire careers once. And Duncan does that, a couple times a month. 21 points and 8 shots is not easy. Duncan continues to be probably one of the most underrated offensive players maybe in the league, but in terms of his import to the Heat, especially because a lot of things happen for a lot of guys because of what Duncan does, even when he doesn't touch the ball, and a lot of the same ways as what Tyler does when he's off the ball as well. Kyle Anderson, man, you could tell some of Philadelphia's young guys just didn't know how to handle his slowness because he was decelerating to the point of hardly moving in the paint, and Philadelphia, their guys just couldn't stay with him. Or couldn't stay with him in the sense that they could contest because Anderson was getting within 5 feet of the rim and then he's just over the top of guys and they couldn't do anything with it. And on the other side of the speed spectrum is Davion Mitchell, who he hits turbo and he gets he gets by people, gets the rim, and he's finishing pretty well. Again, Miami just had the guys. Even down so many bodies, even shorthanded, they had their star player in Herro willing to, create for others, not in a way that he had to be the one getting credit for creating. He was willing to create for others just based on his presence on the floor. And everybody else was able to take advantage. Philadelphia, is not a powerhouse team or anything like that. This is just a game you need to win. At the end of the day, it's a business win. It's a professional win. You just need to win. That's all that matters. Miami took care of business. The big game comes next, and that is Chicago on Wednesday. Right now, the Heat are still number 10 in the Eastern Conference. Now, Chicago will be on a back-to-back going into Wednesday. They play Cleveland on Tuesday. Donovan Mitchell apparently is out. Bulls might be out some of their guys. We'll see how their injury report shakes out by the time you're listening to this. But here's the situation. If the Heat lose that game, and remember, Chicago has the tiebreaker already. If the Heat lose that game, they're almost locked into the 10th spot. They will be going on the road for their first play-in game, needing to win 2 play-in games to make the playoffs. If the Heat win that game, they can still get as high as 8. They'll probably need Atlanta to lose both of their games to Orlando. But if that happens, they can get it to 8. And once you're in the 7-8 bracket, you're still going on the road, but you only need to win one game to make the playoffs. And then, it's just similar to clutch games. We've talked about how with the Morant shot that Cade Cunningham shot, if you're in clutch games, sometimes you're going to get beat because it's just things happen. One play can swing a game. Well, you don't want to – the fewer playing games you have to play, the fewer things can go wrong, right? So better to be in the 7-8 than the 9-10. If you want to get there, you got to beat Chicago on Wednesday. We will see where it goes. This is that time of year. A lot of shaking and moving in the standings. The Western Conference, that is a completely different story. It's chaos over there in the East. Miami's just focused on the next game on Chicago, and we will talk to you very soon. Until then, take care. Thank you for joining me for After the Buzzer, and I'll talk soon.